Mark Cuban by John Redmond Owen. It comes down to finding something you love to do and then just trying to be great at it. Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, a professional basketball team, a part of the National Basketball Association. He's a shining example of an entrepreneur, investor, and businessman. Mark Cuban's ability to turn the Mavericks into a top 5 NBA franchise makes him the most passionate CEO in the United States. As a lifetime Dallas Mavericks fan, season ticket holder, and former athlete, I have combined my knowledge of the franchise, sport, and have compiled research to give you the most up-to-date information on Mark Cuban and why I believe he is the most passionate CEO in America. I will give background about Mr. Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks, and finally, with statistical evidence, I will show his successful ownership and give examples on his passion for his team. According to biography.com, Mark Cuban was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on July 31st, 1958, to a Jewish working-class family. His teenage years were filled with various jobs and even enrolled in the University of Pittsburgh his senior year of high school. After he graduated, he transferred to the University of Indiana's Kelley School of Business. Upon his graduation in 1981, he moved to Dallas, Texas. According to biography.com, he held various jobs from plumbing, landscaping, and sales in Dallas. At this point, Cuban started Micro Solutions. Micro Solutions was a system integrator and a software company that he sold in 1990 to H&R Block. He made approximately $2 million on the sale. After the sale, Cuban started Broadcast.com, the internet's first live webcasting sports website. In 1999, Broadcast.com sold to Yahoo for $5.7 billion in Yahoo stock. With the money made from the deal, Cuban reinvested his capital into various business ventures. According to Forbes.com, Mark Cuban owns Access TV, Ice Rockets, Magnolia Pictures, the Dallas Mavericks, and over 8 other companies. He currently sits as the 697th wealthiest person in the world. The Dallas Mavericks are a professional basketball team in the National Basketball Association. According to the History of the Dallas Mavericks website, businessman Don Carter's investment group founded them in 1980 as members of the Southwest Division of the Western Conference. After a rough first part of the 1980s, the Mavericks began to rise to contention in the late 1980s and were playoff contributors. However, in 1994, Mavericks drafted Jason Kidd out of Cal, and he would play for them until 1996. He would revisit the Mavs later on in his career and be part of the championship team. The Mavericks played at Reunion Arena and currently play at the American Airlines Center. The 1990s signified a time of change for the Dallas Mavericks. Something very important happened. German power forward Dirk Nowitzki was acquired from the Milwaukee Bucks in 1998, and to this day he represents the Mavericks as one of the best 20 players in the history of the sport. He has an NBA Finals MVP, a league MVP, he's an NBA champion, he's the Mavericks all-time scoring leader, and a future Hall of Famer. The most important part of the Mavs' history was in 2000 when Ross Perot's ownership group sold the team to Mark Cuban for $285 million. At this point, a new culture was brought to the Mavericks. On January 14, 2000, when Ross Perot sold the Mavs to the Cuban, a championship culture came to Dallas. Since taking over the CEO of the Mavericks, they have been in the playoffs 13 of 15 seasons. They have been in the NBA Finals twice, and they have won the NBA championship, according to Mavs Billionaire. Also, according to Maverick Billionaire, Mark Cuban has turned his $285 million investment to the 5th most valuable franchise in basketball, at approximately $685 million. Mark Cuban's passion also brought a new venue to Dallas, the American Airlines Center, opened in 2001 in Uptown Dallas, and it cost about $420 million to build, and it is home of the Mavericks, the Dallas Stars of the NHL, and holds many concerts and venues. Another example of Cuban's passion shows in the sales. The Mavericks have sold out 477 consecutive games according to the History of Dallas website since the end of 2001, which is the longest currently running sellout streak in the United States sports. His hands-on ownership is another example of his passion, and his championship culture he brought can be shown evident. His sitting courtside during the games, his public recognition with the team, his involvement in daily operations, and his critical thinking of NBA officiating has found him over $1.3 million of fines, according to NBA.com. I've given you background information about Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks, and I have showed you statistical evidence of Cuban's successful ownership and given you examples of his passion for his team. Mark Cuban's ability to turn the Mavericks into a top 5 NBA franchise show not only his brilliance, but his true passion for what he does. His passionate approach to business make him a staple of American industry and highlight him as someone to emulate as an investor, entrepreneur, and leader.